I'm Kevin Wiebe with Hope Mission, and today we are joined by Jared Jorstad, the prevention manager, senior prevention manager for Hope Mission, and he oversees all of our preventative programs across Alberta, helping children, youth, and families who are in times of need, going through tough situations. Thanks for joining us, Jared.
Good to be here.
Now, Jared, there's been a rising need across the province, and some of the data we have from Statistics Canada indicates that 30% of kids, people under the age of 18, are dealing with some kind of food insecurity. What does that look like on the ground in the programs across the province?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of kids come to our programs, whether it's our after school programs or our drop-in centers. Yeah, they come and there's not always enough to eat there. There's a lot of challenges with just food not being available at home. We have a lot of kids who mention that cupboards are empty, and that's where, at least when they can come to our programs or receive our lunches, that they know that they have a meal that they can count on. We hear that constantly. We're seeing mainly, especially in our in-person breakfast programs. A lot of times these kids will come to school without eating breakfast, and then naturally with our breakfast program being available to them, they're able to eat breakfast before they go to class, and that's a game changer for these kids because their moods, their ability to learn just immediately changes when they have a full stomach. So those are just some challenges with the kids that we're seeing, the youth that we're seeing, as well as families are coming to us for emergency food hampers, for other food supports through our community meals. And yeah, we're hearing from parents that these are just awesome resources that they have available to them to be able to help and support feed their families during this very, very difficult time.
Now, I've been around long enough that I remember the days before the word "hangry" existed, or that it wasn't commonplace years ago. And so I remember hearing that word, this mixture of the word "hungry" and "angry," where you're angry because you're hungry, and that made so much sense to so many people when that word started being circulated. When that kind of got put together for people, where our mood can change because we're hungry. And sometimes the solution to behavioral problems is just get something to eat, and then you won't feel so bad anymore, and you can improve your mood simply by better nutrition. And that's something that applies to kids as well, right? Like that's something that you're seeing in the schools with children coming to school hungry. And so like that's not just a thing for grown-ups or marriage advice. That's an everyday on the ground reality for kids in school.
That's right. Yeah. And maybe even more so. But I think it's a universal experience to experience angry. It's just something we've all felt, whether we had to rush out the door because we couldn't have breakfast at 11 o'clock rolls around, you're not your best self. Like there's no difference for kids. And I've spoken to multiple teachers and principals mentioning that when kids come to school and they know that they have a meal, actually school attendance rises. We had one kid in particular in Red Deer that will come to our program because he knows there's food that is available, and he'll come to school when he knows that after school program is happening. And it's just one of those things that I think every kid experiences, every adult experiences, and when we can bridge that gap to prevent that, then like I said, teachers have told us even school incidents go down, behavior problems go down. These kids can just experience far more emotional levelness, and then they can, of course, do their schoolwork properly. And that just kind of sets the whole school up for success. So when food is available in school, attendance rises, incidents go down. It's really just an important piece of these kids' success.
What about the shame factor? How do kids deal with that? Like, do they feel a lot of shame about not having enough to eat?
We don't hear about that too often. I would say I think a lot of times especially for a kid, if they're hungry, they just want to have something. And we would maybe hear that more for parents. There'd be an embarrassment, I guess, from that. They just feel like maybe they're not doing what they can. But we always assure them that, these resources are available to be able to support you and to be able to help you during this time. Because without them, these parents are really just doing their best, hoping that they can bring some success to their families. But as far as the kids and youth go, they're just happy to get a meal. Schools do a really good job about making sure that food is available openly, so that it is discreet. It's not something that is shamed upon, and yeah, the kids just are able to receive these foods without worrying about that, and that's a great thing because then these students know that they can get a meal without being shamed or embarrassed, especially at school.
That's a question I hear sometimes is where are the parents? Like where are the parents of these kids that are hungry? And that's the answer. The parents are working hard. They're doing their best. They're trying. But sometimes for all the efforts that they're facing, it's still not enough to put food on the table with rising inflation and everything else going on. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's some of these parents will have multiple jobs. It's not like they're not doing enough. They're really making sure that they can provide for these things, and that's where we come in, just to kind of take that edge off, as I say, just to make sure that, hey, we can cover a meal or two here with our emergency food hampers or frozen meals that we may provide, and that really can be quite enough, and especially along the weekends when there's not food available in school.
Wow. That's certainly, at the mission we say hope begins with a meal, and I think that that is very true for a lot of the families as well. Because when those meals are provided, rather at the school programs or in through food hampers like that, that means that's money that can be diverted elsewhere to those critical things like rent or utilities or those things that just help keep families together in their homes. What's some of those things that you've seen, Jared, that the stories that you might go home and think about at night that help just inspire you to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, we with the school food program especially, I think that's where we hear the most success stories in the sense of, we're partnering with these teachers, we're partnering with these principals to make sure that their school has food available, and we're hearing it directly from teachers, that this is making a difference, and, we're hearing it directly from parents that it's making a difference, and even when you talk to these, kids or youth that we serve in our breakfast programs, it's more than just a meal. There's a relationship that's built, and that's what really kind of fires me up and gets me motivated to kind of keep doing these things and to know that we're on the right track as an organization, because it is setting these kids up for success. And some of this heartbreaking stories of it, you can't imagine coming to school hungry or coming to your house and not having food available, and that's a very vulnerable place to be. So it's very important for us as an organization to be able to, again, bridge that gap. One story in particular, this was just recent. We hadn't been delivering to a school, but we took on a new school recently within the last 6 months. And they mentioned that one student was only coming to school maybe like 30% of the time. But once there was food available, her attendance like climbed to like 60 or 70% over the course of 6 months. She started attending school because she knew that there were resources and there's things available to you and to her. And that's really what makes a difference is to know that, hey, that kid maybe only in grade 4 or 5, but if she can consistently come to school, like she's going to be set up for success for the rest of her life. And we can break that cycle in her life.
Wow. Wow. To think that someone so young would have been missing so much school just because they were sitting there hungry all day, and then to be able to uh, actually receive meals there and then be able to learn. I mean, I guess that's the other piece is how do you learn when you're hungry? How do you actually be able to process the information that you're receiving? how do you receive an education when all you can think about is where your next meal is coming from? Uh, now, Jared, let's talk about the food truck. Can you tell us a little bit about the work of that? That's a little bit outside the school food program, but it's still a really important piece of what we're doing.
Yeah, this excuse me, that food truck is a amazing resource. We've only had it for about a year now. And especially it's exciting for us because as you see the snow melting and the grass is turning green, that means it's kind of food truck season for us. So this food truck last year, we probably used it about 45 times last year and served about 6,000 meals to kids and to families across Alberta. And it was just an excellent way to kind of roll into neighborhoods and just be able to provide a meal to families, just kind of on the spot. It's bringing the kitchen really to them. We don't have to knock on their door to bring a frozen meal. They don't have to come to us and receive a hamper. It's more than just us giving a lunch bag to them at their school, but it's now kind of we can go that deeper layer of relationship. So this food truck's going to be rolling out in the next couple days here. Usually May 1st, we kind of get things started. We already have tons of schools that are booked for these type of things. And this summer, particularly and in Edmonton, our Tegler youth team will be driving around to parks and to neighborhoods in Edmonton and just parking and making sure that families have food available. But again, it's more than just that meal. Like we can now build a relationship with them and really go deeper with them, with their supports and just really figure out what they need. So, yeah, it's just a great gateway and a great resource to build some community around.
Now, there's a few pieces about this that is super unique. One is that the food truck is completely free. So for all the families coming there, they receive a meal free of charge so that they don't have to pay for it. And two, in the summer months with the school programs not running, that's a gap for these kids that rely on school meals to get the nutrition that they need. And so this is one way that we can um, kind of provide those meals in those key places by showing up in those parks, in those neighborhoods, and providing some food at those uh, key times for some of those families. Um, Now, how can people get involved with supporting that kind of work, Jared?
Yeah, it's multiple ways. We've had some kind of cool creative ways that some people have been involved recently is we've had a couple farmers donate either a half a cow or a full cow so that we can use that ground beef to be able to kind of make our hamburgers. So people provide baked goods like buns or things like that that we can kind of sponsor school meals. But of course, you can kind of give directly to that, and then every $2.70 that is giving can provide a meal for a kid this summer through that food truck. So yeah, it's either physical goods or monetary gifts. They're both equally helpful.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're watching this and you are inspired by the work of the food truck, that is something we are looking for is individuals or businesses to help sponsor the work of providing that hope on wheels, if you will, to go to those neighborhoods this summer to provide meals for kids and families in those crucial months in between our school meal programs. And so if you are a farmer that has uh, meat or other goods to provide, of course, meat that's been processed at a licensed facility, and then able to donate that directly, any food directly that the food truck could use, or want to help financially, you can get in touch with Jared. His email is jared.dorstad@hopemission.com. Or you can reach out to me and I can connect you with him as well. Um, Now, there's a couple other events coming up, Jared, that are pretty exciting for the prevention side of things where people can get involved. In June, we have the No Child Hungry Walk that's happening. And that the website, I'll just let everyone know, is hopemission.com/no child hungry. And so that's on June 7th across the province. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that walk?
Yeah, this is our third year doing this walk, I guess, and it's exactly that. It's the No Child Hungry Walk. So it's we gather the communities that we're in and that we're serving. We gather people, families, neighborhoods together just to kind of advocate for kids and youth to be able to walk in our cities that we're represented in and be able to raise some money for kids around Alberta to be able to ensure that they have a meal throughout the year. And it's a great event. Kind of brings everybody together. We're able to do a walk, and then we kind of provide a little information and more information about what we do. Depending on the location, you can kind of see our youth centers. So if you're in Edmonton, you get to see the Tegler, see a little tour of it. If you're in Calgary, you get to see our hub, where all the meals that we provide for the neighborhood and for the community come out of. But it's a great event. It's a great event to have family, friends, just to come together and advocate for hungry kids in Alberta.
And schools are also able to get involved in that. So if you're part of a school, schools can also do a walk at the school, kind of like they do a Terry Fox run. And so if you're a part of a school and you want your school to get involved, you can talk. If you're a teacher, you can post that at your school, or if you're a student, talk to your teachers about it. Again, that's hopemission.com/no child hungry. And last but not least, Jared, we have an event coming up very shortly. It's our No Child Hungry Radiothon with Shine FM. And that will be on Wednesday of this week. And that's our yearly radiothon with Shine FM, also across the province in Edmonton, Red Deer, and Calgary. And you'll be a spokesperson for that this year.
That's right. Yeah, I'll be in Calgary, talking about all that we do there in Calgary, as well as just sharing some awesome stories of impact with the kids, teachers, and families that we've met over the last year. So and you get to hear directly from them about how these programs that we provide directly impact their lives and actually change their lives. So we're really looking forward to this event. It's a great annual thing that we do. And it's just awesome to be able to hear directly from the kids. Honestly, that's a life-changing thing for anybody to hear just their heart and how it changes them. But also, for us as staff, we get to have a chance to be able to share the impacts that we're seeing and just stories that we've heard. But we'll be sharing stories from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it's a great day for Hope Mission and for Shine FM to be able to partner on this.
I encourage anyone watching to tune in on Wednesday, April the 23rd to Shine FM in Edmonton, Red Deer, or Calgary, or online as well. Those stories of impact are incredible to hear directly from the children, the youth, the families, the teachers and principals, and from our staff who work with these folks each and every day about the impact that your support has in the lives of these folks who are facing some pretty difficult times. I don't know if you've ever faced that, if you're listening today and you've faced food insecurity or hunger, but to be hungry, to have, or maybe even hangry, and you're in a position where you know that you need food, and you go to your cupboard and you open the cupboard doors and there's nothing there to eat. That can be a pretty scary place to be. And yet that is something that 30% of Alberta kids are facing in some way, shape, or form right now. But there is tremendous hope available because of the support that people like you provide. Our programs at Hope Mission are able to have tremendous impact in the lives of children, youth, and families across the province. So tune in to Shine FM on Wednesday, April 23rd, to be able to hear the impact of your support. And if you want to get involved, you can do so at hopemission.com/radiothon to get involved right away with the radiothon, or just with our prevention work in general. Or if the walk is something you're interested in, that's hopemission.com/no child hungry. Jared, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for sharing about your heart for helping those hurting and hungry kids and families.
Yeah, no, thank you.